Hello, alrighty guys, welcome back to another session of backtesting where I'm going to backtest another half month's worth of data. This is episode number 16 of our backtesting sessions where we are going from 2022 all the way up until 2026 in one single stretch. If you guys are interested in checking out the rest of these videos, this entire process is going to be recorded and posted on my YouTube. With that being said, now let's drop straight into it. So where we're at currently, I'm not going to do this because I did the intro, but I already did the intro once before. I just had to restart the video. So here's where we're at. This is where we're at. Currently up 13R in 3/4 month. We're just going to finish up this last week. And then that's going to be the ending of this session, and I got some other things I need to take care of. But other than that, some of the more important things that I'm working on right now is filtering out my losses a little better, trying to keep the frequency and filter out the losses. That's just basically what it is. And it's just simple rules like overnight expansion previous days, multiple days of expansion, shit like that. And just when you can anticipate for those consolidation type days rather than trading those days in itself, right? And that's what is pretty much my thing right now, right? With that being said, daily everything is very bearish here. We do have this long-term target. What I was talking about earlier before ending the session or ending the recording was that we are going down to this low, looking to trade the lagging asset to the same low. Why? Because of the fact that YM is failing to reverse, more so consolidating. We are going to most likely switch strengths into NQ to catch up with that same low. Daily profile wise is showing me that there is a possibility that we do have this accumulation manipulation here with the London high of day. With that London high of day here, we can take notice of it being a lot more. We'd want to see this 6 a.m. actually press downwards already. I don't like the bullish momentum that is coming from it currently. Just kind of within this consolidation range. I don't think that because we failed to expand away from these highs, this now becomes the relevant high where I can see that high getting rejected off of. So there's your press up into that high there, and I would just wait to see now if I can get that rejection back down to the downside, right? So let's see if we can get it. This is like your accumulation, manipulation. If not, and we fail to manipulate that, we're going up to the next draw on liquidity. Simple as that, right? We can see, yeah, so this is where I want to go to, and we want to see if this relevant high is going to press us downwards. Looking for a 15-minute model in order to get us down here. So we are pressing up. We do hit that next draw. This is where that 15-minute model is going to go and get put into play. YM is a lot weaker than NQ is. And this 15-minute C2, I really just wouldn't want to short YM because YM is all the way down there, right? 930 is really ripping us up to the upside currently. Fuck. I can't really agree that we are bearish here anymore. Why? Because 930 does rip us up higher, and we are failing to reverse right now. So I really can't say for certain that I'm bearish. I'm more so leaning on the bullish end of things to complete this model now here, and that's just trading from external the range to internal and just wanting to rebalance this price leg as we have already expanded, right? That's just what I'm reading just from that driver entry. It's very difficult to say that I want to go lower when price is not showing us fucking signatures to go lower, right? Or I guess so. Here's a nice press. So let's see. I'm looking for a continuation OB now. Yeah, I'll take this right here. Because that's your continuation OB. CISD. Continuation OB. High of the 10 a.m. candle is formed with a 1 hour model, trading a 1 hour C3. Down to all of this low resistance lows. YM, the asset that's setting this manipulation, is accumulating. So we can see the strength switching here with this 1 hour PSP into NQ. So just trading that 1 hour C2 into the 1 hour C3. How do you place this order now? Place this order. Not saving journal. Okay, I'm actually gonna exit. Sorry, my bad. This is your stops to break even. Yeah, we'll exit right here because it's 2R. Sorry, my bad. I'm not gonna shoot for the full thing, obviously, right? Obviously, right? We don't shoot for the full things, but nonetheless, that was your 2R trade like that, going for the CISD, and then your continuation OB, trading lower off of a relevant high. After this high, the next draw is here. The PSP is showing you a strength switching into that stronger asset that was once stronger, now being more bearish. Target is for all of this low resistance, daily accumulation, manipulation, looking for the distribution, right? YM impacts that low down below us. Yeah, that's pretty much it though. Why wouldn't I want to trade? Why didn't I trade YM here? It's just I don't know. I'm not really like having a very clear image here, right? So yeah, there is these SMTs that's like that and like this and shit. But some shit like that. I don't know, bro. It's just not a clear image on YM. It doesn't look like it's moving nicely. This is an accumulation to me, right? And versus NQ is very clear of low resistance, open high, into relevant level. Model is clean from range high down to range low, right? And that's a very clean model, leaving behind this low resistance. And then we have the PSP displacement lower, opening up of gaps and shit down to the downside, and then the gap gets respected and the closure through with very strong displacement within this candle. Very obvious. As you can tell, YM does have a deeper pullback with these kind of equal highs that's located right here. Not the most ideal. So again, all that was just a 1 hour PSP, 30-minute C3, right? 15 minutes, not really a swing, but then I am trading the 11 a.m. high. So 11 a.m. opens up high, closes through, trading that wick of that 11 a.m. candle now, right? The open, high, low, close, the ICISD of the 11 a.m. candle. And that's basically what the trade was to target all of this, going from range high back down to range low. Cool. Moving on to the next. How do we go to next day? Go to next day's open. Okay, so taking a look here, daily time frame. Obviously, we are bearish. The order flow of the higher time frame market is bearish. We do have some low resistance that is getting formed at the bottom of us right now. There is an SMT there though, and the asset setting that SMD is reversing price as it is making a move upwards, looking like we want to trade back to internal range, going from that external target that did get met, now doing a C2 reversal and trading from external to internal, where this previous day's high is going to be considered my draw on liquidity. With that being said, we got that daily C2 pretty much there. Still a whole lot of low resistance that's located below me, so there is a reasoning for me to go and be bearish here. YM with the press downwards here, not the most convincing that we want to be bearish or bullish here, just because that 6 a.m. candle is kind of chopped. The 1800 candle is low, not really forming anything of true significancy. I would wait to see how this relevant high gets impacted, right? And then I would want to, because I can't trade anything here. There's no reason for me to say that this is a reversal from these points, right? I mean, OB obviously and shit, but there's no reason for me to trade up to that high. I mean, you could have traded this 3-minute CISD like that. But even then, bro, you're trading against all of this. Nah. Fuck that. Even with the SMT, it doesn't mean shit to me. I'd much more rather wait for the short here, because this is a nice open high of that daily candle. Large wick, yes, but I'm not going to target for the lowest points of all of this, right? So looking for that reversal to happen. Here's your V-shape reversal. And then you also have that 30-minute C3. I'm going to enter right here, as this is, yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is okay. Because then this would be a relevant level that can give us a reaction out of. And then you could target towards that daily opening price and then lower. Why wouldn't I trade YM now? I don't know. NQ just seems cleaner, right? Reversal off of this high, displacement lower. I'm going to have to accept the risk here. Yeah, going to have to accept that risk here. It just doesn't make sense to go break even right after that when we got all of this. This is like more of a break even point to me, just because the spacing between the two. But we have to put in a wick of the daily candle. So now it's more break even to me, if I got to be honest, because this low here is this model. But we are targeting for all of this, so we still have a good amount of energy and time to get there. And then that would be your 2R. Right. YM, why not trade YM? It's just because these highs, bro. What looks cleaner in terms of the manipulation happening is NQ. And then we expand away, giving me that 10 a.m. OB as well here. With this OB, I do not anticipate us to fucking... like, we're going to rip already, right? I don't care about this low. Why? Because this is the more relevant low. So it's like, yes, I know we're going to get a reaction from here, but I'm not scared of the reaction if it's given. Why? Because this is your model of that low resistance liquidity that's leading up to it. This low is separated from this low, but this low is a part of all of this low resistance. So with that being said, that's why I wasn't really concerned with going break even here. It just is a waste, but we do have to go break even here because of the spacing, right? And then now, what are we just aiming for? Just daily's opening price. Why daily's opening price? Because now this is a very large wick on the daily candle, and I'm just trading from previous day's high back down to previous day's low in alignment with the fucking push downwards. There is SMT fill, as there is this SMT fill like that at that internal level, and I guess you could have traded YM. Problem with me wanting to trade YM like that though is just there's too much stacked highs here for me to say I trust it completely, right? I'd much rather not trade the one with fucking equal highs. But yeah, let's say I was to miss this first trade. I have a next trade here that's off of that 15-minute C2, and after that 15-minute C2 there is one more opportunity within that for the 11 a.m. expansion. So here's your 15-minute C2. Then you would just look for that 3-minute CISD, which here would be your 3-minute CISD here, and that would also be a 11 a.m. Expansion down, and then the high of the 11 a.m. and expansion lower. That also goes and aligns with this secondary CISD as well at that 11:15 closure. Here would actually be like a better YM entry. Why? Because the expansion and then the continuation away would be a lot better on YM to take this trade. So if you wanted to trade YM, that's the better entry. But as for taking this short here on YM, I don't think it's considered valid. Why? Because of the way that there's those double equal highs. And you also do have this fucking sweeping here. So it's like you would have got swept out on YM regardless. I chose NQ again. Why? Because it's swept out and there is a valid protected level, and the expansion away was telling me we're good to all this low resistance liquidity. So this model here looks so much more cleaner on NQ versus this model here on YM looks like fucking consolidation to me, trading away from failure swings. So I'm trading the cleaner framework, right? The sweeping and expansion away, accumulation, manipulating, and in the distribution back down to the downside. Go to next day's open. Okay, very nice daily profile open low into a relevant level. This is a Wednesday, looking like we do have that accumulation, manipulating out this low, V-shaped reversal off of it, and now expanding back upwards to the current high day. There is SMT at the current high day, as YM has already tapped into it. So there is reasoning for us to go lower if it so wants to reverse. If this reversal point does start to reverse price off of the 930 driver, then we can anticipate for us to go lower down to these low resistance lows. However, if the reversal point doesn't reverse off of for YM, then we can anticipate for us to actually go to the next draw in liquidity for YM, which is these triple equal highs, as this is your accumulation, manipulation, and looking for the distribution back upwards. So let's see how this plays out. The moonlight. It's just a very nice open low high close profile, right? As you can tell, Asia does press us down. We are showing like a possible London reversal with a PSP on the 7 hour time frame. We can see the 6 a.m. is very expansive up to the upside. I want to see if this 4 hour gap is going to hold price down to the downside. I do want to assume I am leaning more on the bearish end because of higher time frame order flow is a lot more bearish, and I'd much rather just short with that higher time frame. But we're gonna have to see what the day is gonna give us. If these 30 minutes is gonna respect, then that's gonna tell me that we can go up higher. If the 30 minutes is gonna fucking reject, then it means, or if it's gonna respect, yeah, never mind. Fuck, you know what I mean. All right, so right now we can take notice that price is falling. So with price falling away from these highs, it does look like we are going to be disrespecting this. YM not really V-shaping here. So with YM not V-shaping, there is a possibility we could trade the lagging asset to go and catch up with where YM is. So here you can take notice that there is a 15-minute swing that has formed here. It is a 15-minute swing and a 15-minute PSP as well, showing us that we do have strength switching into that weaker asset, the one that didn't take this high yet. So there's your strength switch, and we have that V-shape reversal. Not exactly a 3-minute CISD. We do have a 1-minute type CISD, but I don't like all of that. I'll wait for one more 3. This is just accumulation right now. All right, so we're just gonna wait till 10. Okay, well that's 10, and we'll see what 10 a.m. gives me, because this is just an accumulation to me, sweeping out the accumulation highs and now displacing away from it, showing me a 2 stages of divergence that's here to here, as we do have here to here now. So there is reasonings for this to be considered the highest point of the day, and we could end up displacing lower if 10 a.m. wants to displace us lower. Okay, so we're not displacing lower, and we are going back up higher. I'm going to wait until externals are taken, because if not, this is just accumulation. So here's your accumulation manipulation, looking to see if we're going to displace lower here. Only way for me to take a trade now is just lower. Yeah, and then it's just fucking confusing after that. So it looks like we are being more bullish. I really couldn't trade this because this is an accumulation. There's no 3-minute CISD here. This just became an accumulation to me and not something that I would like to participate in. YM being at the highest point of the day just kind of accumulated as well. Not really showing me a true entry model for me to get on side with this, right? No 3-minute CISDs. I mean, there is a 3-minute CISD here, but I still didn't trust that because of the fact that I was leaning more on the bearish end, as this is your open high and then looking for the low close, and this is nothing of significancy for me, so I was leaning more on the bearish end here. Obviously not, and it was bullish, so there was just no trade for me that aligned with my bias, so I wouldn't have been able to get it, so to say, right? So that's fine, and that's fine by me, right? Let's go to the next day. So the day was more bullish here. The daily profile was bullish, so I do understand why. There is the push. We do push us into that relative highs though. So like job of being bullish kind of completed already. Looking like an accumulation type week now. Trading from that external range and looking like we do want to trade down lower. After sweeping out these highs, we do have that press downwards and the reversal taking place. I don't think that this could be like an open low internal to external, as this is just formulating all this low resistance liquidity for us to go back up higher, as this is just going and impacting this relevant level and giving us a retrace to rebalance this price leg, only for us to go back up higher. So if we wanted to go higher, I'd want to see 930 reverse price, which 930 is not reversing price. So this is where you can take notice that we are still falling. Without the 930 reversing price here, then that just tells me that we're going back down lower and continuing that bearish order flow that is put into play. And right now my draw on liquidity is going to be considered previous day's low. All assets is pretty much expanding lower. I'm not able to trade at this lowest points of days here. I need to get a 15-minute pullback in order to get into this any type of trade here. Why? Because I need a swing formation in order to participate. So here's where I'll be looking for that 15-minute swing formation. Here's our 15-minute swing, and Q is showing us a PSP as it is very valid, and this is also showing you an 11 a.m. opening up high, setting the high of that 11 a.m. candle with a 15-minute PSP. There is also SMTs in between these levels like that, and we're trading that C2 into expansion here on NQ. There is a nice V-shaped reversal taking place right here, so I'm going to wait for this CISD to go and happen. Here's your CISD on what asset is this? NQ. And then we can go and shoot this for 2R. Let's see if I can get a better fill here, because I don't really want to shoot too far past this. Chances of me getting filled on this is pretty fucking minimal, not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't want to shoot too far past it, but tapped in. Straight to stops. Fuck. All right. Well, that's that. Do we ever go down there? Yeah. So after going in, tapping us out, we ran out one more high. So we ran it out once more and then delivered at 12 o'clock. So the new 6-hour open. Expansion has occurred. So trading that continuation was going to happen at that 12 o'clock open, which I don't trade at 12. So, yeah, that's just basically that is what it is, right? I got stopped out here as I thought that this CISD was ready, as there is that V-shaped reversal off of the 15-minute gap with a 15-minute swing, setting the high of the 11 a.m. candle for the 11 a.m. continuation lower. But then that didn't happen, right? We had to go up once more, and then we got fucking stopped out, and then only for it to run lower. So draw was correct. Execution and timing of the market was wrong. So cool. Taking a look here on the daily time frame, what can I take notice of? Price is, again, we're bearish. It's not fucking difficult to know that we're bearish. Here, price is finally catching up with where YM is. We do have a daily C3, looking for a C4, trading from the midpoint of this previous day's candle. What is within the midpoint? Gaps that we want to see hold. Daily profile showing me what? Open high into those gaps, London reversal, right? And then you can see that 6 a.m. is already expanding lower. 1 hour time frame. We do have a relevant level that I want to be careful around, because that can send us into a different phase in price. We have an 8 a.m. C2 looking for 9 a.m. C3, right? 30 minute OB. I want to make sure that this level, like a different phase in price, has already passed. Well, it kind of does pass already, right? It does have that push upwards after, and then we do have these. I just don't have a protected high that I can say I really trust, and this level here does become very relevant once we tap into it. So the moment we tap into this, I don't really want to enter initially, because it's not safe yet. You know what I mean? This is a relevant level. This is shorting below old lows, so I'm gonna wait until I get some form of new model to show up, right? Or a continuation through it, like a failure to manipulate signature. See what I mean? You would have got stopped out because of how relevant it is. So now I'm just going to wait to see if I can get a new 15-minute model here. So this would be like a new 15 happening prior to 10 a.m. Looking to see if I can get a V shape back down to these lows, as we are respecting that 15-minute OB. No 3-minute CISD is going to be available here, so I may be missing this trade. Displacement lower. Ooh, consolidation. With that right here, with this consolidation, not very confident in this OB, because these highs are pretty much right up against each other. Not the best signatures in price if we want it to be bearish. So there would be your sweep. And now with that sweep, I'm going to wait for the 15-minute to close to see if we can get a 15-minute here. Well, looks like my bias was wrong. So away from that, this then becomes what? If my bias was going to be considered wrong, this becomes seek and destroy. Not something I want to participate in. And yeah, that'd be pretty much it. What happens right after we sweep out these highs? The instant displacement back into the range. You miss the reversal, catch the continuation. Bring it up now. And we should be delivering all the way down to these lows that's located like that. And then that would be your full TP. All right. Yeah, I just don't trade at fucking 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's just me. Right. So bias was correct. We did want to sweep out these highs once more. Displacement lower. Right. What happens after the displacement lower? Just wait for the different phases and price to happen. You do not want to catch anything within this leg, like trying to go and catch more expansion. This is why I wait for those 15-minute pullbacks. Why? Because when you wait for these 15-minute pullbacks, you're letting the different phases in price happen. And in your 15-minute C2 or swing formation here, which is an ideal C2 formation, it's confirming that the different phases has passed. What different phases are you talking about? Is an expansion, right? Expansion met with an accumulation, met with a manipulation, the top of that 15-minute C2. Right, manipulation, and then we're looking for that manipulation, and then the 3-minute CISD and the 15-minute closure, and it's a swing. The swing formation closure is telling you that the different phases has passed: expansion, consolidation, manipulation, distribution. Right, AMD, boom, boom, boom. Enter off of that 15-minute closure like this. Bing. And then you're anticipating now if this is your C2, the wick of that C3 should be formed within the lower half of that previous 15-minute candle. So this is where we want to see the wick get formed in, and that's your 3-minute gaps that does get formed should hold price down to the downside, as we do have these levels like that. Would you enter here? This is a little bit more dangerous of an entry in my experience. Why? Because this high can be swept out. Why? Because the wick of these candles can still go and continue. I'd much rather just enter positionally as like that. Sorry, I gotta wait for the CISD closure, and then just have your stops here, right? And then just fucking short it. But nonetheless, I don't trade at 1. I also don't trade a seek and destroy. Up, down, not really me. Other than that, yeah, I think that's the ending of that session here. This now goes into October, so that was a week's worth of backtesting, and let's go and take a look at the statistics. Got stopped out on that last one. So trading 16R on the month, so pretty decent session. Came out with 2 dubs, 1 loss. That loss, valid loss. I think that was a valid loss in my personal experience. Yeah, great dubs here. It was just like a 12 a.m. play, not a continuation at 10 a.m. play. Needed a deeper retrace on that one, and we just got stopped out, right? Good stab. Maybe a way that could have been avoided was realizing that we was a lot lower in the range than we would more so likely to be. When we are lower, the stop losses do get exposed more, and it does have that chasing feel, which is my number one problem, which is chasing, right? And yeah, other than that, pretty decent. 16R on this September's month. And yeah, that's basically it, dog. I don't know what else to say from there. Other than that, if you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next sessions. Peace.